This is Valley News Live at 10.
This afternoon, the Fargo Fire Department pulled a body from the river after responding to a water rescue call. FFD officials say they got the call at 2:23 p.m. and were dispatched to the area of a cemetery at 2102 5th Street South. One fire crew went to the scene immediately, while another launched a boat into the Red River near Dyke East. Fargo PD says a deceased male was removed from the water. The individual has been identified, but FPD has not released his name. Fargo police say next of kin has been notified. The investigation into what happened is still ongoing. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I am Nisha Taylor. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the 14-year-old girl who was stabbed yesterday morning in the parking lot of a strip mall in Fargo. Fargo police say the teen was stabbed multiple times. She was found unconscious and bleeding at 4340 13th Avenue South near the Party City. A City of Fargo sanitation worker discovered the girl around 7 a.m. FPD arrested 23-year-old Arthur Prince Coley in connection with the stabbing. They say Coley has no permanent address and is being charged with attempted murder. And Fargo police responded to an overturned vehicle near the 4900 block of 44th Avenue South. In this photo sent to us by a viewer, it shows the car resting on its roof. It's believed the driver of the car hit a parked U-Haul trailer, causing it to flip. Also, a witness on the scene said the driver was rescued by a Good Samaritan walking by. We reached out to Fargo PD to confirm this information. We are still waiting for more details. And Xcel Energy is experiencing numerous power outages in the Mayville, Portland area. According to the power company's outage map, close to 1,600 customers were without power. The outages were first reported at 5 p.m. this evening. Currently, about 450 outages remain. There is no time frame when the power will be restored. Xcel Energy's website states they are currently assessing damage. And it's been hot this week. Summer, what are we expecting for the rest of it?
We are expecting heat to continue. Maybe, not quite as hot as we have been yesterday and today, because today was another one for the record books. The number to beat today was 95 degrees. That record was set 82 years ago, and we broke it today. We hit 100 degrees in Fargo and also 100 degrees in Grand Forks. The previous record of 95 was set back in 1988. We have had some thunderstorms on radar tonight. No longer severe, although we did have some severe thunderstorms across the northern Red River Valley tonight. Right now we are seeing continued thunder and lightning with those, and along with some small hail as well. But the ones we're really concerned about are the ones that are forming out in Montana, currently moving into western North Dakota. I'll have your timing and impacts in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, Summer. This week's White House chat features President Biden talking to former President Obama discussing the Affordable Care Act. In the video, they announced that more than 31 million Americans have gained access to health care through the ACA. The two leaders tout the special enrollment period that was opened during the pandemic, allowing more than 1.2 million more Americans to sign up.
It was built on a model that combined good ideas from Democrats and Republicans. You and I have both had some tragic, illnesses in our families. We know what it's like emotionally, and that's compounded if a family, when somebody who they love deeply gets sick, is now also trying to figure out, how do I pay the bills? Can I get the best treatment? Am I gonna have to mortgage my house? Am I gonna have to drain all my retirement savings?
They also encourage people who need health coverage to consider enrolling by August 15th. While the nation continues to trend in the right direction with new COVID-19 infections, the CDC is stepping up its effort to get teens vaccinated. The number of young people between 12 and 17 getting hospitalized with COVID is on the rise.
A renewed push from the CDC trying to get teens vaccinated against COVID-19. The agency's head says she's deeply concerned with a rise in COVID hospitalizations among teens, which jumped between March and April. New variants and increased contact could be to blame.
As cases come down, people who are not vaccinated are more vulnerable that is a product of more sticky variants and some relaxation of the actual mitigation measures, meaning we're putting kids into group activities but not wearing masks.
A new study showed in the first quarter nearly a third of 12 to 17-year-olds hospitalized with COVID were admitted to intensive care and 5% were put on a ventilator. But the study reported no deaths. Most of those young patients had underlying conditions. The Pfizer vaccine is now authorized for 12 to 15-year-olds.
I feel safer now.
Experts say severe COVID illness is still rare among children, but doctors recommend children not yet eligible to be vaccinated continue wearing masks indoors.
When we consider what happens in communities, especially those of lower income, where there is more crowding, we have unvaccinated people and many of them together, and this virus will continue to spread, so we will have more outbreaks.
While the CDC pushes for those over 12 to get the shot as soon as possible, the agency's head says much of the suffering from COVID-19 these days can be prevented. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Today, a somber ceremony was held to mark the 40th anniversary of the beginning of the AIDS epidemic. Leaders, including Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, laid a wreath in remembrance of the 700,000 Americans lost to AIDS. It was one of several events planned to mark the anniversary of the first cases of AIDS reported in the U.S. A 40-block panel of the AIDS memorial quilt was also displayed in the National AIDS Memorial Park in San Francisco. Long-term survivors of HIV were also honored today. And the first annual CODY HOLTE co-ed softball tournament was held in Ada today. A helicopter brought in a softball signed by the Grand Forks Police Department. 13 teams made up of community members, family, and friends of CODY. CODY's son, Gunner, and Grandpa threw out the first pitch. Special medals and t-shirts were made for the event. There's also a silent auction at Main Street Bar. Items were donated by local individuals and businesses, including gift certificates and summer items that were some of CODY's favorites. A local construction company was caught off guard recently when they discovered a snake was among their order from Texas. And our friends at the Critter Crazy Reptile and Exotic Rescue stepped in to help. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling brings us the story.
This is Houston, a Texas rat snake here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Why is this snake so far away from home? Well, that's because he was a stowaway from down south that ended up in Minnesota.
The business owner's like, I am not a snake guy, so I need somebody to come and help and figure out what this is and help deal with it.
Thankfully for everyone, rat snakes are not venomous. Tasha Gorence and the Critter Crazy Reptile Exotic Rescue were called in to help S&M Enterprises, who found the snake on a shipment they received from Houston.
A lot of people, if you don't know anything about Texas, there's a lot of different species of snakes. So there's venomous snakes, non-venomous snakes, and so I had no idea what I was getting into in this phone call.
What was scary for all involved is that no one knew what type of snake they were dealing with. Was it dangerous? Was it venomous? It was also a concern for Gorence, who is 7 months pregnant.
I did have to keep, a safer distance than I might normally, especially being pregnant. I did get a photo ahead of time, so I was able to kind of take a little bit of a look at it, but the head in the photo was a little bit pixelated, so it was really hard to see what exactly we were dealing with.
They are currently working on getting the snake back to Texas. In Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
One of the options they have to getting the snake back down south is to have a volunteer drive it to Texas. For more information on Houston, the snake, and the Crazy Critter Reptile and Exotic Rescue, go to our website and click on this story. Later on Valley News Live at 10, a cruise from Venice set sail, but some activists protested against its departure.
And we are continuing to see a few thunderstorms bubbling up in Cavalier, Pembina, and even into Kitson County at this hour. But now we're turning our eyes into western North Dakota, our next chance of severe weather. Already seeing some gust potential up to 70 miles per hour. Love your hour-by-hour forecast and impact for our neck of the woods coming right up.